What's up, guys? Back. Jake's giving me another opportunity to have a crushing intro here, but glad everybody's here. Got my boy George McHale from Bitcoin
What's up?
Magazine. He is a very special guy that I'm excited to have on here, and his son Kingston. So welcome,
Oh,
guys, and looking forward to having a good chat with you. George
Before
is somebody
before
I've
Kingston,
known
the,
for.
the youngest people, the youngest people that we
Oh
ever had was the
yeah,
Giga guys.
was what?
the Giga guys. They're like 3 years
it's
older than
it's a
you.
long-standing joke. Yeah.
Right.
3 years older. I'm 16. That's impressive.
I know. Hey, you're behind them. You better pick it up, man. They're like 3 years older than you. They already got a freaking $1 billion company almost. So
Hey, I
they're
still
not
got
really.
time. I still got time.
You got time. And they're not actually. They're a little bit more than 3 years older than you, but you're on a pretty good track, Kingston, and I can't wait to talk about it. So, but just for a little bit of background, George is a good friend of mine. I've gotten to know him a lot more over the last couple of years. And George, I think you're a kind of voice that more people in the Bitcoin space need to know. Not that they don't know you, but I think we need to hear from guys like you more. And I think you're a really pleasant person to be around. You got a great outlook on things, and you've done some things in a variety of different areas that I think are really important and valuable. And I'm just really happy to get you on here, man. These are the kind of shows I want to have more uh, in the future, and so I'm fired up about it, dude.
Yeah, man. Well, excited to make this happen. Thanks so much for having me on.
Of course, man. So why don't you told us a little bit about your background before we started, but so why don't you just regurgitate some of that and just kind of let everybody know like your background, because I do like it and it's different. It's actually I had a lot of different jobs in my background, and I call myself sometimes like the Forrest Gump of Bitcoin, but it's not because I'm slow. So
Sure.
but you've had a
Yeah.
lot of different areas that you've touched too. So yeah, go ahead. Tell us your background.
Yeah, man. Always tough to know where to start, but like, I guess just from the very beginning. So I was born in Cairo, Egypt, and immigrated when I was 4 years old, and grew up in the Seattle area. Started my career. We'll kind of fast forward. When I was 19 years old, I got in the real estate business, and primarily the mortgage industry. So this is kind of around the time of the Great Financial Crisis. Worked for Wells Fargo Home Mortgage, kind of climbed the corporate ladder there for a little while, made a ton of money, and was doing really well. But quickly kind of got disillusioned by everything that I was seeing. If you recall at the time, these were like the loans that people just, basically you fog a mirror, you get a loan is the deal. And that made me uncomfortable a little bit, especially kind of seeing how people were out of work and the government was like bailing out banks. And so that was all kind of jarring. And at the same time, for me, though, my career was going well. And so this was this weird kind of juxtaposition that didn't sit right with me. And at the time, I was having a little bit of like a spiritual awakening. I was attending this church that was growing really rapidly in the Seattle area called Eastlake, and I remember the pastor there he was always trying to get me to come work for him, and I was always like, dude, you can't afford me. Like, I don't know what we're even talking about here. I'm not going to come work for a church, but um, he kind of wore on me for a while, and there was kind of enough there with my disillusionment to finally jump ship. Took this massive pay cut and ended up working for this church. And again, climbed the ranks, became kind of his right hand man and the executive pastor of that church. And this is a large evangelical multi-site megachurch. We're at 9 locations in the Seattle area. It's like 8,000 people on a weekend. So high production, kind of where I found my love for events and just kind of putting on shows. Um, and so to kind of wrap that story up, kind of got a peek behind the scenes into how like the economics of church worked, and just kind of kept tucking away these lessons, right? The great financial crisis, pastors really incentivized to lie to people, essentially,
Mm.
to get them to tell them what they want to hear, so that they keep coming back, they keep donating. It's really how the system is designed. Didn't like that very much. Kind of got disillusioned with that. Um, and so, so these economic lessons, I think, really primed me for being ready to get exposed to Bitcoin later in my journey, which was around 2017. Started working for Russell Okung, former NFL player, former Seahawk Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ. He's also my brother-in-law. And so I was doing some work with him. He was really into venture capital at the time. And so one of my responsibilities was looking at the deals that he was being sent, and kind of filtering them, saying, "Hey, Russ, you should look at this one. Don't invest in this one." And at the time, there was a theme of blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin type deals that were heavy in volume, and we started paying attention to those. And when I started looking more into Bitcoin, I was like, "Oh man, this could actually be a solution to a lot of these problems that I've encountered throughout my journey." And so it was pretty intuitive, and Russ and I kind of fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole together. In 2017, bought my first Bitcoin at the Pico top in December, 17K I think it was. Rode it all the way down to whatever 3 or 4K, but knew there was something there, and had my Ethereum Litecoin phase. Litecoin is silver. I don't know if you remember this narrative. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Got to get some Litecoin. Got to diversify, and got wrecked like everyone. And then 2019 went full kind of Bitcoin only. Russ and I hosted an event in LA called Bitcoin Is, and that was like our first, I guess, introduction to the Bitcoin scene, and it's where we met a lot of people who are still friends now. And because it was Russ, like we were able to get whoever we wanted to come to that event. Safety and Alex Gladstein, Pomp, everyone came through. So that was a lot of fun. And then found this role at BTC Inc. As a director of marketing. It's kind of how I got my foot in the door. This was about 3 years ago, and kind of worked my way through different roles and responsibilities, and today find myself leading our media organization. So I'm the general manager at Bitcoin Magazine as of about 3 weeks ago. So brand new position. Prior to that, I was the vice president of operations. So I'm really excited for this next era of the media org and kind of what it means. And that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Well, congratulations, man. Yeah, no, congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you.
What all falls into the media purview?
So Bitcoin Magazine encompasses our website, obviously, bitcoinmagazine.com, our Twitter, which is probably our largest channel, 3.3 million followers. We have a print magazine that comes out, once a quarter. But then, within the BTC Inc. umbrella, we have our sister companies, the Bitcoin Conference, as well as UTXO. So we all kind of work in tandem with each other. So our responsibilities on the media side, really, our partners are anyone who is in the space that wants to advertise to our audience. We also have like periodic events that are pretty unique. So like for the halving, we hosted a live stream that followed. I think we counted down to the 21 blocks leading up to the halving, which is really cool. And then, I should share this. This is exclusive. No one knows this one yet, but we are hosting a live stream on Election Day also. That's going to be catered to the Bitcoin audience, which will be a lot of fun, broadcasting live from Vegas. So trying to give Bitcoiners an alternative to kind of watch the election day outside of cable news and follow the races that are important to Bitcoiners. So really excited for that. It's going to be announced tomorrow, so probably by the time this airs, people will know. But you guys know.
Nice. We got we're breaking news over here, Energizing Bitcoin. Dude, that's awesome. That sounds great, though. I like that. We need a whole news channel that's like Bitcoin news channel.
Yes, dude. We should actually talk about that. I've been thinking a lot about that. Like, how do we get just like real time, like a cable news where you can always tune in? It'd be hard to do, like round the clock coverage, but I think we can pull it off. There's enough content out there.
You could fill it with other content. You know what I mean? You could fill it with other content, documentaries,
you could
that
fill
kind
it
of
with
stuff.
Ridiculousness, like MTV does, just around the clock. Just
right, yeah. Absolutely.
Sure.
I think this is a great idea, and I think we need to do this together as a group right here. Kingston, you can be the executive producer, you and Sarah, and we just start building. Yeah, I like it.
Hey, guys,
I like it.
I'm the boss now. We can do this. I can greenlight this. Let's go.
I love it. I love having powerful friends.
That's right. Let's go.
You left out some things in your kind of accomplishments in your little bio you just gave us, man, and that is you're an author. co-author of Thank God for Bitcoin, which I would like to talk a little bit about it too, just to, for those who haven't read it. I've read most of that one as well. I think that's a great book too. But also your most recent one, which just came out this summer and was originally what we were wanting to do. We wanted to have George on for his first stop for his book tour that he did, but unfortunately we got it bumped. But he just wrote another book called I'm Not Your Bruh, and I love it. Sarah and I we started reading it. Got to finish this though, but yeah, just kind of tell us about the books and what each one has a pretty unique thing that it covers, I think, and it correlates and ties back to Bitcoin for both of them, obviously. But yeah, just kind of give us a synopsis on those.
Sure. So thank God for Bitcoin. So out of Bitcoin Is, the event I mentioned, Jimmy Song was one of the speakers. I got to know him a little bit, kind of connected on the fact that we were both Christian, but like saw the world very differently. But there was enough common ground there where we agreed on Bitcoin, and we're like, there's kind of this overlap between like the Christian community and the Bitcoin community, and there's probably a book here. And so we linked up, started a book club with a bunch of other people, and we started reading some like economics books. And at the end of it, we got a group of us together. I think there was 8 or 9 of us. And we decided to write this book, Thank God for Bitcoin. Robert Breedlove also is a co-author, Lyle Pratt, a few others. And really, it's a great book for Bitcoiners to share with people who have any sort of faith background. It kind of approaches the question of Bitcoin from like the moral imperative side of it, like why Bitcoin is good for people, good for humanity. Really easy read, quick read, and again, would resonate with anyone who has like any sort of church or spiritual background.
Can you expand on that and just give us like the moral case or the Christian case for it?
Yeah. So thank God for Bitcoin, the creation, redemption of money. The creation, corruption, and redemption of money. Sorry, it's been a while since I looked at this one. The redemption, so it looks at the entire arc of like what money is. Actually, we don't even talk about Bitcoin until I think the last like couple chapters. So it's really an exploration of what money is and how it got corrupted, and the temptations of fiat and all these things that I've kind of talked about in my intro of like pastors' incentives and banks' incentives and governments and how money gets corrupted. And then we kind of wrap it up with how Bitcoin sort of redeems money and the potential that it has to offer hope for the world. So there's theories out there that maybe Satoshi's the second coming. There's a lot of I think really rich. There's a rich component to why Bitcoin is actually a very positive force for good in the world. And so we kind of explore those themes. It's not like I don't want to say this. It's not like overtly like Christian. Like we sprinkle some Bible verses in there that sometimes like out of context or not super relevant. Which we've got a lot of feedback about that. We know, we're aware. Please don't you don't need to email me about that. It's all good. They're Bible verses that can be helpful. And but yeah, I think for me, like as someone who is now sort of again kind of disillusioned with the church and that whole thing, I still find it to be helpful. I still think like there is a spiritual component to what's happening in this fight of sort of good versus evil in the world, and I think Bitcoin's a big part of that.
One thing I'm going to say too, sorry, Jake knows I'm wanting to I want to make things very philosophical and spiritual and all this stuff, but one thing I've always, because I feel the same way about the church oftentimes. But I also, one of the best quotes I ever heard was from a Christmas Carol, the one by Charles Dickens. And when the Ghost of Christmas Present is like, Scrooge is like, hey man, you guys shut down churches and you won't feed the poor on Sundays and all that. Like, how hypocritical is that? And the ghost gets all mad and he's like, don't put on me what man does. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that sticks with me so much because it's so true. A lot of the things that happen that are under the guise of the church or like Christianity or spirituality or religion, a lot of those get cast upon God. And it's like, nah, man, just because somebody does something in God's name doesn't mean it's God's work. And
100%.
it's so sorry. I just
totally
wanted to
agree.
throw that in there. I love it.
No, I
But
agree. I think that's where I'm at too. Yeah, it's just
mhm.
like it's the church has its own baggage. All these the words, the way that we use all these words have baggage. The word God carries a
Dude,
lot of.
I was having this conversation today. Go, sorry, George. Go ahead. But yeah,
No, like it's what do you mean by God? Like who are you talking to? Who are you talking about? And I try to simplify it as much as I can, and just like it doesn't have to be wrapped in this sort of like church Christian do these things. It's more just like what is the fruit? What is the fruit of your life? And if are you somebody who I want to be like? I don't care what you
right.
say about what you believe, or it really does come down to like who are you as a person? Who are you becoming? And that's kind of what I want to model my life after.
You'll know them by their fruits. It's the way it is.
Amen.
So,
Preach.
all right, my bad. Now tell us about the new one, because it's a parenting book, and and that's why we got Kingston on here, because for a Bitcoin kind of phrase, obviously, proof of work. So
that's right.
George's book, Kingston, you're the proof that this stuff works, and that he's not been lying the whole time in that book. So let's hear about it.
I fact-checked every story in it.
It's all true. It all passes muster.
So I Am Not Your Bra, 21 Keys to Sound Parenting. My first solo book. Very excited about it. Just came out. I have not done a great job of promoting it. It's one thing to write a book. It's another thing to like talk about it and tell people like, hey, you should read this book. But I do love this book. Gotten really good feedback. Anyone who's actually read it, I feel like has enjoyed it. So that's encouraging. But basically this came out because, so I brought Kingston to a conference, Bitcoin 2021.
No, 2 was the first one I met.
2022. And so I was working at the conference at the time, and Kingston was with me, and he was 13, King? Yeah. 13 years old. And the way that he like kind of sprung into action and just like made himself useful, and people coming up to me the entire time, like, what have you been teaching this kid? And literally like people were coming up to me saying, you need to write this down. You need to write a book because I want to know all of your parenting strategies. And so I love writing, and I'm like, it's a good idea for a book. I could do this. Also noticed a lot of Bitcoiners starting to have kids as we become older. And so try to figure out kind of how to weave in the Bitcoin themes that, my wife and I have implied in our parenting strategy. And so, this book kind of came together over the span of 6 months or so, just kind of writing down all of the secrets, all the tips and tricks that we've used that have worked. So there's 21 chapters that cover, anything from discipline to how to, talk to your kids and have a relationship with your kids. I think that the main theme and the kind of the title of the book, I'm Not Your Bra, just touches on how like you're not your kid's friend, right? Like there is a difference between being an authority figure and being a parent and being intentional with that relationship with your kids versus kind of what's become common, which is like kids literally calling their mom like bruh, like it just is so like cringeworthy a lot of times. And so that's where the title came from, is just trying to put an end to that whole like narrative. So if you get nothing else, just get the title, like I'm Not Your Bra. Maybe start there with your parenting, and if that's helpful, then maybe pick up the book and read the rest of it.
So I'm gonna already just kind of out myself. I already was kind of on my heels when I saw it, because my nickname for my son is literally Bro. So I'm like, gosh, I'm failing at the title. This is already bad. but it's tough. And Bitcoiners are younger. They are starting to have kids now, right? And so I do think this is very important. But like, where's the line of like having a friendly relationship, right, with your kid at times and loving on them, into where you think it's kind of like, hey, there's a line here that you got to still maintain that kind of authoritarian figure status.
Yeah. Kingston, you want to take that one?
Yeah, Kingston, where's it at?
I mean, it's very hard to spot, honestly. And coming from me, it honestly just all depends on the situation. Like, what's going on, what happened in the past couple of days, what happened in the past week, what's happening now, like who are you with? And it's like if you're I don't know, if you're out with the family getting ice cream, like yeah, hang out, crack a couple of jokes, you know. It's not all like completely following the book. There's a little bit of like, you know, hanging out and like actually enjoying time as a family. But you know, when, you know, you do something, or I mean, one of the biggest rules we have is like no phones at the table. And it's like when you're at family dinner and you're on your phone, like you're gonna hear it across the table.
Right.
So it really depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think I'd add to like Kingston and I would say are friends. I don't know if like it's the right language. Like we hang out, like we like to spend time together, right? But I think that has been earned, and it comes from a place of like respect first. And you know, one of the things I talk about in the book is that the parent-child relationship is a unique relationship. It's not what I'm not advocating for is sort of like this respect of overarching authority, and that's the you know a lot of Bitcoiners kind of thought I was going down that road of like you need to teach your kids to respect authority. Like, no, I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm saying you need to kind of make a distinction that parental authority is unique. There's only one mom, one dad in a parent's life, and that relationship from the start, from when they're babies, needs to be understood. And really, for the child's sake, more than anything, like kids, I think need parents. Believe it or not, they need the nurturing of a mother, and they need sort of the guidance of a father to kind of just like blank slate or blanket like gender roles. Like that's really what it comes down to. So you're not your kid's friend first, but it doesn't mean like you're not in a relationship with them or you're not like friendly with them.
Right.
It's just that there has to be a priority there.
Yeah. Kingston, have you read the book?
I've read most of it. I have not read all of it, but I mean, also I have lived it, so I know most of what's in there. So
yeah. So you can vouch that your dad his message in the book is what he's lived with you guys.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
He did not pay you to say this or to confirm it, right?
No.
No.
Yeah, no. Anytime we talk, anytime I hear anyone talking about it, and like, even when we were going over it, like it's good stuff.
Well, and I already said it, but I can attest it. I met Kingston this summer at the Bitcoin conference, and it's very brief, but just seeing you interact with people and run around and being involved, it's something that I think it was impressed me and my wife. So you know, we're
Thank you.
It's nice to see, because we hear so much about the younger generation or blah 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 blah. It's nice to see that there's still some budding little rock stars in there. So keep it up, and you got a good dad and mom that are setting a good foundation and setting you up for success in the future. So good job. But
thank you.
Along back to those lines, yeah, no problem, dude. Of course, bro, no problem, bro. Back to the kids, or to the Bitcoiners that are kind of coming of age. I've actually noticed on Twitter like some Bitcoin weddings, right? People getting married and marrying other Bitcoiners, and so I do think that this is a real thing, and I think there's a lot of people right now that I've heard people say it over the last few years that I don't want to bring in kids in this world right now, and yada yada, all that kind of stuff. It does kind of make me think about, you know, the importance of this kind of book. So have the sales been pretty good? And is it primarily being sold through Bitcoin Magazine, or like where are you guys distributing the book at?
Yeah, Bitcoin Magazine sales have been solid. Every time we have it at a conference, it sells out, which is great. I think people are intrigued. You know, one of my goals with this. So Bitcoin Magazine has a publishing arm that published this book, and I went through all the proper channels. I didn't get any special treatment or anything like that. But I wanted to publish it through Bitcoin Magazine because there's a ton of Bitcoin content out there already that talks about Bitcoin. But I think it's important as we kind of mature as a community, and Bitcoin is now a teenager in its years, that we start kind of thinking more about sort of just the lifestyle components of other things that are relevant. There's another great book, Fiat Food, came out recently. Had a chance to meet Matthew, the author. Great book, phenomenal research and work that was put into it. But it's a book about kind of how fiat corrupted our food system. And so more books like that. So parenting, food, like what else is sort of Bitcoin adjacent that's relevant for Bitcoiners, but isn't, explicitly about just like Bitcoin, the protocol. I think this is going to become more and more important as we grow and mature as a community.
Yeah, I do too. And I think there's, Jake and I were doing a show earlier today. This is our third one today, so it's been a long one, but save the best for last. So, but we were talking just kind of about some of the, outside things that we want to start talking about more here, because I do think that we just have a really big community with a lot of the philosophy of life is what brought people to Bitcoin. And that's why I think we have such a like-minded kind of base. And I think it's obviously growing because of the impact in like politics that I see the Bitcoin community having now. You had Trump at the Bitcoin conference, Kennedy at the Bitcoin conference, and there was rumors Kamala was going to show up, but just having that kind of attention from presidential candidates shows how big the community is getting. So I do think it's very, very important that we have all these kind of tangential messaging and educational kind of platforms or resources like what you did. So I think it's just going to continue to be more and more important.
Yep. And to go back to your point too, about just like people who say, the world is hard and I don't want to bring kids into this world. I think as Bitcoiners, it's important for us to think about the type of world that we envision, right? Because the world is hard and changing the world takes time, right? And we talk a lot about low time preference and sort of the work that we want to do in the world to change the world. And I think having kids is probably the lowest time preference thing you can do, right? It's on a long enough time horizon. If more of us have kids and we instill correct values in our children, then the world is going to change, over a long time period. We're not going to get everything done in our lifetime. But hopefully we can make good progress, and hopefully, Kingston's generation and Kingston's kids can begin to make more of an impact. But like, if we're not having kids, like what are we doing?
Right.
So that's, I think, a really important thing to consider as a Bitcoiner who's, hopefully doesn't have that mindset. Hopefully there's a more abundant mindset that says, I want to bring as many kids in the world as I can.
Yeah. I mean, it's like idiocracy, like if the other group's having it, like we need some people with like-mindedness and some discipline having kids too. Otherwise we're going to end up on idiocracy. Jake, I'm sorry. I keep talking. So you go ahead, dude. I can tell you want to jump in there. So my bad.
I mean, the only thing that I'm kind of thinking of is it's cool to see how you've kind of brought, Kingston around this community, and now I've kind of like integrated them into the community at that age. I kind of inadvertently, not really intentionally, did that with both of my sons. They're much younger. My oldest is 6. And so he was there for the first Empower back in 2022. And so I literally, I brought him to Empower. We're literally setting up stuff. He wanted to help. He randomly disappears. We find him with Ted Cruz taking pictures. He comes up on stage. But then I would bring him to, whenever we're recording shows and we're doing them in person, he would come, and I'd also bring him to the Bitcoin meetup, because we would host it at our office in Houston. And, I think a lot of people look at that as, you got these kids that are running around and they're kind of annoying and stuff. But you know what happened the last couple times that I brought him? He didn't play anymore. He actually went and sat and listened and was paying attention. And I knew that he actually listened because on the drive home, he regurgitated everything that he had heard. Wow. Right?
Nice.
So he got his first iPad the other day, and I was telling Justin it was the super proud dad moment. And so I got it because I'm splitting my time between Idaho and Houston, and I wanted to be able to talk with him more. And one of his first texts that he sent me was, Bitcoin is the best form of money. And he's 6 years old. And I was like, that's something that's like so top of mind for him that he could send anything in the world when he has the ability to communicate with me. And one of the first three things that he texts me is Bitcoin's the best form of money.
That's amazing. So yeah.
George, he missed the chapter about not giving his kids phones and technology.
Hey, that's not what I said.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
There is a chapter about technology, but it's very nuanced. That was the hardest chapter to write. I'll be honest.
I bet.
You can't make anyone happy with that chapter.
No,
it's
I know.
Lose.
I think it's the hardest
but
thing.
Also a win-win at some level.
Yeah,
it's so hard to navigate.
Yeah, it's very, very clean, very like foggy line of like what to do with technology now, because it's like running away from it is just stupid because it's inevitable, like it's taking over, but then like too much of it and it hurts.
Go ahead, Kingston. Yeah, my bad.
No, I'm just saying, just finding that balance of what, instead of turning it away, how to integrate it in a healthy way instead of a junk way.
That's a good point, and I correlate it to when I was coaching high school basketball in my prior Forrest Gump days. We had AAU basketball was blowing up, right? And I'm coaching at a high school. A lot of the coaches wanted to just get rid of it, and like, we're not going to associate with them. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. They started losing players to the AAU system. We tried to say, all right, how can we kind of control this a little bit? And we bring it in, but we do it in a much more controlled manner. We want those guys coming around us so that we can kind of dictate how our guys that are playing for our high school team are going to interact. We try to bring AU teams in that do it the right way, and it's similar, and that there's kind of a balance and a dance you got to do with it that evolves, right, and changes, and you got to be able to change and evolve with it. But I don't know. I've tried to just maintain like open lines of communication with my kids on that kind of stuff, because it's it's a dangerous area, but then it's also one of the most empowering, informative areas that you could be in, and you don't want them to get left behind either. So, totally. But yeah, Jake did send me that screenshot, and that was his freaking first text is Bitcoin related. That dude's he's on the right path, bro.
That's right, man. Good on you, Jake. We definitely need more of that. More little Bitcoiners running around. There's also we also talk about just how we've incorporated like paying our kids in Bitcoin for various like household tasks, and teaching both our kids like stacking sats at an early age, getting them their first wallet. All that stuff's important. Like, we got to practice what we preach, and it can be very like practical too.
So Sarah got an idea from that too. She's going to have Jackson basically take an older miner and fix a hashboard to kind of learn to put it together. And George and I work together too. So they've got a mining operation we're setting up down in South Texas ERCOT zone. But I'm gonna set one of my son's miners over there and let him watch his wallet grow every day.
Love that.
It's a little guy. It won't eat up that much energy, George. It won't change the power bill too much. So
no, start him young. I love it.
Yeah,
and you're teaching him a trade too, something he can do with his hands.
Right. And it's a way, because he loves computers too. Like, he's all into it. It's a way to kind of take that interest and kind of focus it on something that I think is going to be valuable for him down the road. But yeah. So
and I think Jake also hit on an important point of just like having your kids around in the environments that you want them to sort of soak in. Meetups is a huge part. I mean, Kingston's been coming, I think, ever since Bitcoin 2021, which we attended, but I wasn't working at yet. There was like a curiosity about, what is this whole, Bitcoin thing all about, and started coming to meetups, and through that met a ton of people. Kingston's now working for Strike. Met Jack at Bitcoin 2022, and kind of was like, you were like his like personal assistant during that conference.
Yeah.
Impressed that team, and as soon as he turned 16, they brought him on. So look, this is like, it's not rocket science. This is how they used to do it way back in the olden days, where sons would follow their dads around, learn whatever trade their dad's in. And, it's not that much different. Obviously technology's kind of consumed a lot of our lives now, but, I think this is kind of a big part of the message of the book is like, your kids want more of you. They want to be around you. They want to learn from you. And a lot of times, whether it's you're too busy or like whatever excuse there is, it's just not good enough. Like you gotta figure out how to carve out that time and, give them as much exposure as you can to the real world.
I think so many
I can
people
tell Jake has done a good job of bringing. Oh, my bad. We got a
Yeah,
delay.
no,
I'm sorry, man.
It's exactly that. It's not just the Bitcoin stuff, but like I bring my kids to me working out. I bring them to jujitsu. I bring them to pickleball. Like they're exposed to. I bring them to work with me. Like if I want them to emulate anything, I need to set the example in all aspects of my life and integrate them into it. And I think, and not to say that a lot of parents see their kids as burdens, but it's almost like dedicate. Like no, we're just gonna have like playtime. Like that's the time. Like you're not gonna come into my life. And I've never established those lines. My kids go absolutely everywhere with me. I actually went and picked up my youngest a few weeks ago and brought him back to Houston. He came to every single one of my meetings with me. He's like sitting at the bar at the Four Seasons, drinking apple juice and like coloring. And he was like super well behaved. And people were like, why is your son so well behaved in like these public settings? And I'm like, because he's accustomed to it. He's used to it. He's not like acting a fool. Like, and then my kids are social. Right? Especially bring them to the meetup. Now they'll shake your hand. They'll look you in the eye. They want to be accommodating. Hey, can I get you a drink? Hey, can I do something? And it's like, I don't necessarily even teach them that. They pick up on these cues by being around it so early and just integrating them into your life. So.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. That's literally what I was going to say is that I've seen Jake do a really good job of making sure his kids are around and involved and just kind of watching. And I think that's where they learn a lot is just observation. So, good job, Jake.
Yeah, Jake
Georgia
doesn't
proves.
need to read the book. He's already
But so Kingston, what's your plans, man? What's your goals after? Strike might be it forever. You're just going to take over for Jack when he's done?
I mean, if you asked me that question honestly a year ago, I would have said a pilot, and I still do want to be a pilot, but like going through like getting my private pilots. But if you would ask me a year ago, I would have said just full like commercial, like Delta Airlines, like I want to fly planes. But honestly, now I really don't know. I do still want to get my private's license, but I don't know if I want to. I do want to like kind of continue an area in Bitcoin. Because I love it. Like I love learning more. I've learned so much. Like and like Jake, it's exactly what you were saying. It's all observation. Like just kind of being around everyone and like picking, hearing little things here and there and just understanding it and learning about it is like my favorite thing. So it's a hard question, but probably I do want to stay in the Bitcoin space and learn as much as possible.
Now, Kingston, you're done with school, right? You graduated already?
I have one more year. So I'm in my junior year right now. So I'm graduating after this year.
Okay. Yeah. Good deal. And what are your plans? Are you looking at college or are you just saying, hey, like I've learned what I need to learn in this system and I'm moving on I'm taking the Bitcoin path.
Yeah, I'm homeschooled, so I actually tried to bargain to graduate this year because I really didn't want to do any school, and I kind of just want to work. But there's a couple core subjects I still should learn.
All right,
my mom.
All right.
No, it's all love. I need to know physics, I guess, to fly planes. So
yeah, that probably would help.
It's yeah.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love the fact that you're not thinking about college. I dropped out multiple times and ultimately realized it wasn't for me, and I say the same thing when kind of preparing my kids financially, whether it be hodling Bitcoin for them. And I'm talking to my dad about it, who's very old world. And I'm like, college may not be a thing. Like by the time that they're even like college age, like the world could look so differently, especially with the rise of like AI and just culturally. I think everybody's kind of waking up to, is it really worth starting your life off with $500,000 in debt to then pay that off for the rest of your life? And really, a job is never really any sort of like, there's no guaranteed security unless you truly are like owning the thing, right? So it's all this like fugazi, this facade that has kind of been like sold to us. And so I think that it's really cool to hear somebody of like your generation who's just like, yeah, I'm not going to college. Like, I love that, right? And it's obviously like suiting you well. Like you're making your own path. You're going out there and working with Strike. And I think you have like an awesome future ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing about college has been if you want to be a lawyer or an astronaut or engineer, whatever you have to do to go to college. Like, I'm not saying college is completely terrible and a waste of time. Like, if you want to be a doctor, like, yeah, in this world right now, I actually agree with you. I don't think college is going to be around forever, but yeah, right now, like, you want to be a doctor, like, yeah, go to college. Like, I encourage it. But for someone like me who just doesn't like school and kind of just wants to work, I just college is not a fun sounding idea.
Dude, you and I both.
Man, I hear you, dude. And it's similar to even the fiat system. We think that so many things are forever ideas or just laws, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is we're talking about things that are in this short span of time that we allow to dictate how we think things are going to be forever. And,
Right.
so our monetary system has been really the way it is right now for about 50 years. That's it. So to think that this is going to be how it is forever is delusional. It's delusional. And to think that we have it all right now is delusional. It's the same way with college. It's like the way that we've kind of been programmed to think. And Kingston, this is coming from me. I'm a lawyer. I hated school and I went longer and it's like, but I agree completely with what you guys are saying. It's just because things have been done a certain way for this short period of time that seems like forever to us and in our lifetime spans and our lifetime vision. It's very, very, very insignificant, and it is going to change. It will inevitably, it will change, and it won't be this way forever. So, yeah, man, kudos to you for not just falling into the mundane, repetitive kind of lifestyle that we're all trained to fall in. And kudos to your dad and your mom for raising you to be aware of it. But yeah, I mean, I've been very impressed with you, and I love your dad and Russ. He's great too. So Russ refuses to come on a show, but we're gonna keep pressuring him. Get him on here one day, Jake.
You will. You'll get him.
Yeah,
Russ,
we will.
We'll get him. We'll work on him together.
Yeah,
I think also tangentially, I'm curious, like if we want to talk a little philosophy, Justin, if you've paid attention, Jordan, I don't know if you have or not, but to some of the thought leaders, particularly on the AI side, of like what the implications are for kind of broader society when a lot of potentially jobs could be eliminated through AI. There's a significant amount of talk around like a universal basic income, right? And maybe this is in conjunction with Bitcoin. Maybe it's not. I don't really know. As of right now, I'm kind of the opinion that, back before the tractor was built, 90% of people were farmers, and we lost a lot of those jobs, and the world evolved and naturally adapted, right? And I kind of feel like that will probably fall into kind of the same thing. However, what is coming is an absolute step change for society, and I don't even think any of us can really fathom really what is going to take place over the next few years, next couple decades. I don't know. Have you kind of noodled on this a little bit? Because it's also, I don't know, there's also a little bit spiritual component to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first thing with AI for me is like right now, as I'm using like ChatGPT and stuff, I'm super polite. Like I like use please and thank you because I want them to remember me when when they come to power. Like, yeah, you were very kind to us.
You're the nice guy. You're not going to be a battery for us.
That's the first tip. But no, I tend to agree. I think the world's going to find a way to adapt. Like, we're already adapting. I mean, it's crazy to even think about what the world was like before ChatGPT. I mean, I use it pretty regularly now, and it's a tremendous help in a lot of different areas. As far as like UBI and stuff, that's, I think, the big question mark is where does all this go? And I think there's some people that think that there's going to be a reality where Bitcoin and the dollar kind of coexist. And there's some people that think that the dollar is going to collapse and Bitcoin's going to take over and become the global reserve currency. Where AI plays into that, I think it remains to be seen. I don't know if you guys saw this story, I think just this week, where an AI launched its own coin. Did you guys see this?
I did not see that. That's wild.
Someone created an AI that went on to launch a token that ended up becoming like a $350 million market cap, all on its own, and was interacting with other AIs. Like, this crazy story. I think Mark Andreessen like funded it or something.
Look that up.
So this is already happening, and I definitely don't think we're ready for it. But I know I try to take the kind of like abundant outlook that says it's wherever it's headed, it's going to be good. I don't know if that's wishful thinking or overly like Pollyanna, but like I'm like not excited about like getting like a Neuralink chip in my brain or any of that stuff. I think there's got to be like a line in the sand somewhere, and that's probably it. Like, I'm not trying to
agree.
Become a robot myself.
No brain implants.
Yeah. But yeah, whether or not we can kind of like control the evolvement of AI, or if it's going to be like a dark dystopian type thing where we're in the Matrix, I don't know. I think we just kind of got to try to plan for the best, but it's happening in our lifetime. It's definitely going to look different 20 years from now than it does today.
Oh yeah, no. It's inevitable. I mean, people couldn't imagine where we're at 20 years ago. A lot of people, most people, and you take 50 years from then. To think some of the things that people born in the 30s and 40s have witnessed just over their lifetime is dramatic, and I think we're going exponentially faster now than what we probably ever have. So, yeah, it's. I don't know. Me and Jake tend to put on our tinfoil hats, and we can go very deep down some very, very deep rabbit holes. But the one thing that we know will be true is that there's going to be some changes, and AI is going to be involved, and it's going to play a major role.
Yep.
I got a question for you, George. Did you see the HBO Bitcoin documentary that just got released, or no?
I did not see it yet. I saw the spoiler though, so I feel like they're saying Peter Todd's Satoshi.
They've gone, they kind of back. Actually, I didn't even watch all the way to the end. I kept falling asleep, but I didn't think it was bad.
Well, spoiler alert! Sorry,
Justin and I
over Twitter. Ruin the movie.
That's more of like I take melatonin at night and just fall asleep very, very quickly. And that was like my nighttime watching. Not that it was like boring or anything, but there's a lot of controversy about the whole premise of it, and to kind of begin with. And I think a lot of Bitcoiners were like hypercritical of, my view is I think it regardless of what they were ultimately trying to get at, it was just more kind of awareness for Bitcoin as a whole, which I think is typically going to be like a net positive. But yeah,
definitely.
We recorded an episode earlier. We were talking about it a little bit, so I was just curious.
Yeah, the whole question of who Satoshi is definitely fascinating. So I think the mystery of Satoshi is one of the things that I love the most about Bitcoin, and personally, of the opinion that the longer it stays a secret, the better. But yeah, I agree. The speculation and sort of the attention is definitely net good for Bitcoin.
Yeah, I love when people ask. It's like, well, what about like who controls it? Like, then there's no one controlling my money. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's the whole like. So point. There's no one you have to trust.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
This is a good thing, guys.
Yeah, it's a feature, not a bug. It's a good thing. Yeah. So, yeah. Look, I don't know. Jake, you need to. We got to have George on again. He's just a good dude, and we haven't touched on mining, but he's an active miner. Working on getting this site up and running, which I'll call you afterwards. But we got good news and some not great news, but just reality of what it is. But he's got other operations going too that they've done, and he's just one of the kind of guys that, I think people may not know his name as much as I think they should. But I think that, George, I think you're one of the kind of people that just really make me happy to be a part of the kind of Bitcoin community. So I think I appreciate that. You do a great job on everything you do. I've always enjoyed getting to talk to you, and I love getting to work with you too. So,
likewise, man. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys having me on and giving us a chance to share a little bit about the book. I hope we can get the word out a little bit more. All the parents out there that want to read it and leave a review on Amazon, all that good stuff. I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. So if they wanted to go purchase it right now, should we share a link? What should we do? Where can they get it?
Yeah.
Bitcoin Magazine.
Yeah, actually this is important because it's actually kind of hard to find on Amazon, unfortunately, because there's a lot of merch. There's a lot of I'm Not Your Bruh merch. So if you just type in I'm Not Your Bruh, you get a bunch of merch. So you got to type in I'm Not Your Bruh book. But yeah, we should put the link in the show notes or whatever. It's also on bitcoinmagazine.com/store. It's actually cheaper on Bitcoin Magazine than Amazon, but there's no Prime on Bitcoin Magazine. So, you got to choose.
True. I bought it from Bitcoin Magazine, just FYI.
Love it. Love it.
Support my community.
Appreciate that. It's on Kindle. Don't have the audiobook yet, but hopefully recording that soon. Kingston's going to help me with that. He's got that nice mic in the studio and everything. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on the book.
I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. Congrats on the book. Congrats on the new role. Kingston, congrats on all your stuff. Keep it up, buddy.